What's up, everybody? If you like to read, then I'm sure you have a stack of books to get through and not near enough time. How do you know which books you want to read or which books you're going to read next? And how are you going to remember what you read? Best thing you can do is skim books. Now, skimming a book before you read it serves a few purposes. First off, it helps you figure out whether or not the book is worth reading. If you're going to commit a bunch of time to reading one book as opposed to another, it better be worth your time. And if you are interested in reading a book and you want to remember what's in it, skimming a book helps create an overview so that you know what's coming. It's like taking a look at a map before you take a road trip. You also want to skim a book to know what kind of book you're reading. Is it a history, a scientific work, a theoretical book, a practical book? Is it fiction, nonfiction, etc.? Knowing what type of book you're going to read is helpful. If you're reading fiction, you can just sit back and enjoy the story. No skimming necessary. But if you're reading nonfiction, the type of book determines what types of questions you should demand from the author. For example, if you're reading a scientific works, you're going to look for references and data. If you're reading a theoretical book, maybe there's less references, but there's going to be more opinions from the author. And if it's a practical book, you should be looking for how-to instructions and then maybe some stories or information to back it up. Now, skimming a book should not take long. I'm reading a bunch of books on habits right now. This one, The Power of Habit, took me 30 minutes to skim. I did a good skimming of this one. Atomic Habits, this one only took about 20 minutes, and same thing with Tiny Habits, it took about 20 minutes. Now, these books are about 275 pages. Power Habit here is around 300 pages. Now, you can actually get a lot from a book in just those 20 to 30 minutes of skimming. Now, skimming a book is a form of active reading. You can't expect just to passively skim a book and absorb anything or begin to understand what the book is about or influence why you should read it. You do have to be focused and intent. Now, here is a book that I have not read. Transforming Leadership. I'm taking this for a class. I gotta plow through this in a week. I'm gonna skim it first, and then I'll read it. And if it's good, I will reread it. Let me show you how I'll skim this book. But first, time to focus. Ooh. Yeah, that's totally not necessary, but it's got caffeine, so whatever. All right, first up, you have to inspect the book. You judge the book by its cover. Look at the cover and the title, which should be obvious, but right here, what do we see? Transforming Leadership, and then a bunch of awesome leaders on the front. This implies that I'm going to learn about these people within the book. Good to know. Now, we read the back. Now, I like the back of this book because it actually has a description of what the book is about. I can't stand those books that they don't tell you what it's about. It's just a bunch of quotes from other authors saying, oh yeah, this is awesome, you should read it. I'll be the judge of that. Tell me what it's about. So we read the back. Okay, so this book looks like it's about historical leaders and how they transformed the areas that they govern. All right, next step, table of contents. Now again, the table of contents serves as like a roadmap on the trip you're going to take. It helps set guideposts to where you're going. Now, after reading the table of contents, skim the whole book. What I like to do is flip through every single page. Whenever there's a new chapter, read the first paragraph or even the first page, and then the last 2 paragraphs for every chapter. A well-written book will oftentimes have a great summary of what you just read. Awesome, so I just got done skimming this, took about 20 minutes. Looking through the book, I see that there is a consistent way the author makes points. There's topics like creativity, followership, transformation, values, and then the author provides historical examples of how leaders acted in ways to support his points. Great, done. This book is worth a read, and I have to read it, so I'm going to. But now I know what I'm getting into. Also, I know that this isn't a theoretical work. The author isn't dreaming up things and trying to convince me that a way is right. It's also not a scientific treatise, as there's not any data or arguments to try to prove a point. However, it is kind of a historical book, looking at different people in history and how they led and the impact that they had. There's probably lots to learn. So again, skim a book before you read it to help you figure out if you want to put the effort in the first place. Also, it gives you an idea of what's to come and what you can expect from the author. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you're interested in 2 more steps that will help you remember what you read, you can check out this video.